Вітаю вас. Черговий брифінг присвячений викриттю пропаганди та
Greetings, this is our next briefing on exposing the propaganda and fakes of the aggressor state. Let's talk today about the fact that Russia is trying to create a mood in the occupied territories that further integration of these territories into Russia is unavoidable. Even despite their own promises, they are contesting for the independence of these territories. So the trigger for this was the celebration of Russia Day in the occupied Kherson and Mariupol. In Kherson, in order to create the necessary scene for propagandists, people were brought en masse to play the role of extras. Anastasia, a resident of the city, told Ukrainska Pravda in her commentary. On Teatralna Street in the city center, there were 3 buses with people brought in, and they didn't even try to hide them. Ordinary Kherson residents were not allowed there. It was a party for their own people. There were also a lot of pensioners in the square, and songs from Soviet movies were played. In addition, in Kherson they are also trying to issue Russian passports to residents. But this attraction of unprecedented generosity, in quotation marks, was attended by 23 people, including the former mayor of the city, the collaborator Saldo, as well as representatives of a party created by a Spanish travel blogger wanted by Ukraine for high treason, who on camera received from the hands of the occupiers these booklets, which indicate further progress on the path of high treason. In Mariupol, the occupiers are also trying to create the impression that the city is lost to Ukraine. In particular, they have thought of changing the steel structure at the entrance to the city from the Ukrainian spelling Mariupol to the Russian spelling of the city by changing one letter and painting this composition from Ukrainian national colors to Russian ones, tricolors. And in order to show that life is returning to the ruined city, propagandists run videos through their state resources such as Sputnik, like the fact that the beach season has opened in Mariupol. Life is getting better. The city that became a symbol of the genocide of the Ukrainian people, a symbol of destruction, a symbol of aggression, seems now to be in the midst of the beach season, as Russian media resources controlled by the Russian state are trying to convince. At the same time, Russian state officials said that there was no recognition of the independence of the so-called Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, which seemed to be formal reason for the start of this war. And we are talking about the annexation of these territories by Russia. This was stated by the head of the committee of the Russian Federation Council, Timchenko. He told Russia's state news agency RIA Novosti that senators will be delegated to the Russian Federation Council to join the Russian Federation Council, and by elections will be held in the Russian State Duma. At the same time, Russian state propagandists are outraged that there is not enough sympathy in the central Russian cities for the Russian army, which is waging an aggressive war on the territory of Ukraine. In particular, the state propagandist Kots writes about it, the same one who was known for his history with the Wagnerites and now spreads fakes about Russia's war against Ukraine in the Komsomol Truth or Komsomolskaya Pravda. He is outraged that on Russian Day, June the 12th, the main news on Russian channels were about the opening of a new pseudo-McDonald's, which replaced American fast food under a new brand, while the events in Donbass are less and less reported in Russia's central media. This is very easy to understand, because the province is at war in Russia. The poorest sections of the population are at war, while neither Moscow nor St. Petersburg is actively involved in the war, as residents of these cities seek to stay away from the bloody meat grinder unleashed by their leader. I have already told you that this boy, Alyosha, has become a new symbol of war in order to at least humanize Russian aggression against Ukraine. Another reincarnation of this image is now in Donetsk. Traditionally, Russia is spreading fakes that Western military support and weapons has allegedly been destroyed for the umpteenth time, now supplied by our partners, reported by the Russian Soviet with reference to the Russian Ministry of Defense without any details of where, when and what exactly has been destroyed. Just missiles destroyed the temporary deployment of foreign mercenaries in the LPR and a large number of weapons from the United States. The only purpose of these messages is to sow discouragement among our Western partners, so that they do not supply weapons to Ukraine, because we desperately need them to push the enemy out of our territory. Another fake from Russian propagandists is concerning the Budapest Memorandum, according to which Russia officially undertook not just not to attack Ukraine, but to defend Ukraine. According to them, it was a common meeting protocol which does not have the force of a contract or other legal document. This was reported by the same view of justifying the war waged by Russia against Ukraine. This proves once again that Russia is trying to lie constantly and everywhere through its state mouthpieces and state officials in order to explain to its citizens and its few partners around the world why they are killing Ukrainians and occupying Ukrainian territory. No matter how aggressively and actively Russian propagandists try to impose their opinion about the inevitability of the annexation of both Kherson and Mariupol into Russia, or the fake entities that they created in the occupied territory, Ukraine will fight for its citizens and its land. I call you not to trust the state Russian propagandists, trust the Ukrainian media, the top political leadership and the armed forces of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.